Hello everyone, this is Jay at Inspiration Masters. As a part of our inspiring series, we invite the individuals, the difference makers, the artists, the business owners, and all around the people who are making a positive difference in the lives of people, not only just in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, but around the world. And today I have a great pleasure and privilege to invite a very special guest, Mr. Gene Mosley. Welcome, Gene, to Inspiration Masters. So glad to have you here.
Thank you for having me, brother. I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
Have a good time.
And Gene is a former at-risk youth, and he has lived through several challenges, and he has become an extraordinary person with an amazing journey. So it'll be very interesting for me to talk to Gene. Before I go there and ask him any questions, Gene Mosley, he earned his master's in exercise physiology, sports psychology, and counseling. He's a certified behavior change specialist, certified teacher, public speaking and storytelling coach, and a professional speaker. He's an author of a newly released book, Overcoming Your Empty Closet, 13 Principles to Becoming a Valuable Success Story. So Gene, we are so honored to have you here, and I'm interested in finding out more about your journey, especially when we were talking a long time back and you'd come and visited Inspiration Masters a couple of years back. And you work with a lot of youth who are at risk. Tell us something about how that works and how you make a difference in their lives.
All right, well, first of all, I grew up, for a lot of people that don't know what at-risk youth is, that's a youth that grew up in probably a drug-infested area. They probably have a father, they have no direction in their life. So what I started doing is I started going to the juvenile detention centers. And I realized because I have become successful, got a master's degree, I can go in there and have some kind of impact in these guys' lives.
That's right, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and that's where it started. And I realized that when I took the time to use my life story and use the life lessons I've learned to teach them the principles I used to become successful, I became a valuable success story in their life. And that just made me enthusiastic. That just made me realize that I had an opportunity to have an impact in a kid's life that grew up without a father like me, that was looking for direction. So that is how all of this started.
I think that's a great thing, because one of the important things is they can relate, and you can relate to them. That it's not somebody walking off who has no idea what you're talking about, but you're the one who've already been through, you know their pains. Exactly. And you would be the one who would be answering the questions in the best way possible.
Exactly. And you, me, the people that's watching, we all have something in our life.
Yes.
We all have life lessons. We have people out there that we can actually reach. I may not be able to reach somebody that you can. You may not be able to reach somebody that I can.
Yes.
But your life story, those lessons you have, you can use those to teach the principles that allow you to sit in that chair right now, that allow you to start Inspiration Masters. You know what I'm saying? And I have mine that can help other people. So that's what it's about.
So you try to see that how you narrow down those principles and bring it to them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So there are a lot of things you do along with that. I think you were also involved in a lot of healthcare at a point of time.
Yes.
So what did you do in the healthcare side?
So when I was in healthcare, I was a behavior change specialist and an exercise physiologist. And my number one thing was to help people that had cancer, HIV, diabetes. Now, what I discovered in the process is that a lot of these people, when they had that bad moment when they were struck with cancer or diabetes, it was a traumatic experience for them. So they were looking for hope. And one thing that I did, I was coaching them, you know, so they could be compliant with their medication, they could see hope. And so one thing that I designed was action plans. Because no matter what you're going through in life, when it comes to any behavior changes or anything that can help you, you have to have an action plan. And so that was my number one goal. And I discovered in that process that when you reach out to somebody and you help them with principles and an action plan, and that helped to give that person hope, that's what allowed those individuals to have success in their life. And when I discovered that, I was like, you know what? I don't want to just do this in the corporate area. I don't want to just do this in healthcare. I want to go out and do this to other people in the community. So that's how I started.
Goodbye to corporate.
I say bye to corporate. I say hello to my speaking voice and hello to helping those out there that need some hope. So that's how I started.
So you're also involved with the National Speakers Association, and you're a great storyteller. You collect the stories. So I want to even also hear your story about capturing those stories. Before I have a lot of question about your book, which has come out, and everybody's interested in getting a copy. So before I go to the book, I want to also hear from you about those parts.
Okay, yes. So for you all that don't know, the National Speaker Association is an organization where you have a lot of professional speakers and everybody there. I had great mentors there. Now, one thing about public speaking, the heart of public speaking is storytelling.
Yes.
If you want to be a good public speaker, you have to be a good storyteller. So what I started doing is collecting stories over the years. Anytime something happened in my life, I had an experience when I met Jay, I collected that story, any story. But the thing about the power of the story allows you to connect, build bridges.
Yes.
So I've collected over 1,000 stories. So
wow,
anytime I'm in a situation, somebody asks me to speak, like if you ask me to speak, I'm going to look for a story that can relate to the audience that I'm about to deal with.
Wow.
If it's a kid that grew up without a father, I'm going to tell my story about growing up without a father, because that allows you to build that relationship so you can reach people, inspire them, and touch their heart, and then help them to make the changes in their life. But it all starts with the story.
You wanted to hear from you, because I have heard once from you were talking, and how you draw the lines on a calendar on every day and find out a new story every day.
Exactly.
So that is always very interesting. Now we are coming to the book, and you have this special book, Overcome Your Empty Closet. So overcoming your empty closet. So what is that empty closet moment? That's what we want to learn about.
So an empty closet moment is a moment in your life when you felt like you was not worthy, you wasn't good enough, your life had no value. Now, people always ask me, what do you mean by that? Let me tell you how that originated. See, when I was 11 years old, I had just got home from elementary school with my little sister, and we walked in the house, and to our surprise, our mama was crying, wearing her pajamas. It's the first day of summer. I'm like, what in the world is going on? So I said, what's wrong, Mom? She said, Junior, go in the room and ask your dad if he's going to leave us. Now, I'm thinking, maybe daddy going to a trip to another country because he works on the railroad. So I walk into the room, my daddy's watching television, and I say, Daddy, are you going to leave? He said, oh, no, son, I'm not going to leave. I'm going to put us in a better home out this bad neighborhood. So I went to my mom and I said, Mama, Daddy's not going to leave. He just told me. Now, have you ever told somebody some good news, and you can tell by the look on the person's face, they think you're lying to them? So my mama looked at me, she turned around, she walked off, didn't say a word. Now, the next 2 weeks, I started to notice that my daddy wasn't around the house. So I say, Mama, where's Daddy? She say, Junior, your daddy left us 2 weeks ago. Now, I didn't believe her, so I ran into their room, and I opened my daddy's closet, and it was totally empty. His clothes was gone, and at that moment, I felt like I wasn't worthy, I wasn't good enough, my life had no value because my daddy left. And we all have those moments in our life where we have a bad experience that make us feel like we're not worthy. So the reason I wrote the book is to help people overcome those empty closet moments. But first, you must identify what that moment is for you.
So every person has a different empty
we all have something.
Moment,
exactly.
and they would carry over a period of time.
Yes, it can keep you from going after what you want, your dreams, because you don't feel that you're worthy.
Right. So the book, you presenting the solutions to that.
Yes.
How to overcome that?
13 principles. I took the 13 principles from when I was a kid, when I had that empty closet moment in my life, and the journey from that moment all the way till I became adult to the day that I closed the closet in my life by forgiving my daddy for leaving the family.
So actually you can close the closet.
Yes, you can close the closet.
Can. That's the most important thing. So a couple of things if you would like to share with our viewers. What are those critical things where you identify that this is my empty closet moment? And from that, how you go into the stepwise process? How do you identify that?
Well, you identify it, it's very simple. It's the thing that you really don't want to talk about. You know, the one thing about us as people, we don't like to be vulnerable. And when I have to deal with, like the other day I met this guy, I was in Starbucks and he's 55 years old. And we were sitting down talking, he saw the book, he said, what does empty closet mean? I told him the same story about my daddy leaving, just like I just told you all. And he looked at me, he said, you know, man, I'm 55 years old and I met my daddy one time in my life. My dad looked me in my eyes and said, hey man, I'm gonna take you to Disneyland. It's the first time he ever met his daddy. His daddy said, I'm gonna go to the store. That was the last time he ever saw his father.
Wow.
So that was an empty closet moment for him.
Yeah.
And it has been hunting him for all his life. It's destroyed his relationships. He never went after his dreams, but he never ever dealt with that empty closet. But the only reason he was willing to open up about it is because I told my story and it allowed us to connect. That's the power of the story.
That's the power of the story, yeah.
And then now we're talking about his empty closet moment. and we're going to start dealing with the emotional issues with that so he can start moving on past that and go after things that he wants in life.
Right. So you will be, of course, giving a lot of talks along with this, and you're also a public speaker. So what kind of topics you talk about?
One thing I like to talk about is self-worth. That is the biggest thing. I'm always on self-worth and opioids because we have an opioid crisis. When I was in the healthcare industry, in the wellness industry, I deal with opioid addictions and stuff like that.
Yes.
But it all goes back to self-worth.
Yes.
If you have a good self-worth, a healthy self-worth, you see yourself valuable, there's no reason for you to take drugs.
No, that's a good approach because I am on the same side. Being a pharmacist, I'm on the internal side. It isn't. It's a symptomatic treatment.
Exactly.
But that's not treating the cause.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you're working on the cause because that's something to work for.
Yes.
The solution is not the treatment of symptoms.
Exactly.
When it comes to symptoms, it's already late.
Exactly.
So,
And you know, when I was in the juvenile detention centers, and I had 200 guys, you know, mostly had no fathers, we dealt with the empty closet issues.
Right.
You had guys that were stealing, robbing, doing all these things.
Right.
And then when we started asking them, why are you doing these things? It
Yes.
all went back to a low self-worth. And for
Yes.
you all that don't know what self-worth is, that is how much you value yourself. See, when
Right.
you value yourself, it changes your whole perspective
That's
about you
right.
and your decision making.
Right.
So we have to start with the self-worth of the individual. And that's what I
Right.
focus on in the book,
That's right.
and that's what I focus on when I go speak.
Right, for inspiration, we talk the same thing. If you want to change a behavior, you have to change the belief.
Exactly.
Change the belief to change the behavior.
Exactly.
That's the key part, and I'm glad you taking that lead and working on that.
Yes.
Gene, another important thing I want to know about is a lot of people now looking at the book, want the book, and they want to reach out to you. How can they reach? What place should they go to? What website should they visit?
You should visit gmosley.com. That's where I have the book on gmosley.com and click shop. Go all the way down and you'll see a link with the book itself. You just go in there, click on the book, select book, and then you can go from there. It's a very easy process.
And
Very
if
easy.
somebody want to reach out to bring you as a speaker onto their events, they
Yes.
go to the same website.
Yes, go on the website, gmosley.com, or you can reach me at 940-703-9346, or email me at gene@gmosley.com. That's how you can reach me.
Excellent. So genemosley.com is the website to go to get hold of Gene, and he's very approachable. And another thing, the great thing is that 2015 when we were at Inspiration Masters, we called upon, I still remember one of the stories you told, to use your gifts and talents to become a hero in someone else's life. That was an amazing story told by Jen. I still remember the story, and I remember the power of story you told.
Yeah.
So we have been very privileged to have a conversation with Gene. On behalf of the entire team of Inspiration Masters, we wish you all the best for anything and everything you take over.
Thank you.
Gene, thank you so much for stopping by.
I love it.
Again,
Pleasure.
thank you for
Pleasure.
watching.